Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Inside, we'll do inside, yeah. Come there. Like this three. This is Harichandra. Harichandra, guard of the crematorium. Right? We ask him the small spirit we're creating at the back to look after that spirit here till the 11th month prayer. Right?
And you too?
Yeah. Turn 3 times, and then drop the camphor in one of these countries. Om Muniamma Naidoo, Om Atma Shanti, Om Shivaya Gauri Vadana Vrinda, Suryaya Dakshineshwara Nashikaya, Shri Nilakantaya Vishwaja, Tasme Shikaraya Namah Shivaya, Om Shivaya Namah, Om Maheshwaraya, Om Shambhavaya Namah. Right. Just a moment. Dad, just take your shoes off there, please. You'll see there's a hole there.
Yeah.
Right? No, don't have to close it. You go 3 rounds like that, let the water fall, right? The 3rd round I'll take it from you, right? Right, leave it. Om Muniamma Naidoo, Om Atma Shanti, Om Nagendra Ratrilochanaya Basmangaraga Maheshwaraya, Nityaya Shudaya Digambaraya, Tasminakaraya Namah Shivaya, Om Mandikini Salila Chanda Sasitaya, Nadeshwaraya Paramatmanata Maheshwaraya, Mandara Pushpa Bhava Pushpa Supujitaya, Tasme Makaraya Namah Shivaya, Om Shivaya Gauri Vadana Vrinda, Suryaya Dakshineshwara Nashikaya, Shri Nilakantaya Vishwaja, Tasme Shikaraya Namah. Stand here, look at the crematorium. Yeah. Take 2 steps. Can we have pallbearers, please? We're going to take the stands, the 2 stands. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Dear family, Prem Namaskaram to all of you. Vanakkam, Namaste, and good afternoon. We've assembled here to pay our respects, to offer love, light, and energy to this soul that is taking leave from this earthly plane. Also, we want to celebrate this life of this Amma that was here on this earthly plane for a long period of time, and we'll discuss all that just now. But let us bow heads in prayer. Om Om Gajananam Bhotaganati Sevitam Kapit Jambo Palachara Bhakshanam Omasutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Vigneshwara Padapanjakam Om Tatpurushaya Vidmaye Mahadevaya Dhimai Tanno Rudra Prachodayat Om Narayanaya Vidmai Vasudevaya Dhimai Tanno Vishnu Prachodayat Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Sureshwam Vishwadaram Gagana Sadrishwam Meghavarnam Shubhagam Lakshmikantam Kamalaneyanam Yogibindram Gamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaram Sarvalokanatham Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much. Just to keep our protocol in place, please make sure. Just lift it, lift it, lift it. Okay. That please keep our masks on. Please try and keep some social distance. And if you want to offer condolences to the immediate family, please no hugging at this juncture. We're trying to take care of all of ourselves. Let us be all safe. I just want to get some vibhuti and put for Ma. Then you can all come and pay your respects. Give me a second. Thank you. Take with your thumb, nice, and put a nice dot for her. Good, pick it up. Yeah. Okay, okay. No, no, don't speak. Tissue? Tissue? Come help me. Dear family and friends, you're now welcome to come and pay your respects to our dear Amma. Once that is once that is done, then we'll celebrate her life. Okay, so all of you can come through, and when you come through here, please make sure that you sanitize once you've finished. Dad, stand here, make sure all of them sanitized, right? I'm going to sing. Om Kodan Ram Ram, Kodan Ram Ram, Kodan Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram, Kodan Ram Ram, Kodan Ram Ram, Kodan Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Karuneya Ram Ram, Karuneya Ram Ram, Karuneya Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Karuneya Ram Ram, Karuneya Ram Ram, Karuneya Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Kagastha Ram Ram, Kagastha Ram Ram, Kagastha Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Kagastha Ram Ram, Kagastha Ram Ram, Kagastha Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Dasaratha Ram Ram, Dasaratha Ram Ram, Dasaratha Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Dasaratha Ram Ram, Dasaratha Ram Ram, Dasaratha Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Ayodhya Ram Ram, Ayodhya Ram Ram, Ayodhya Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Ayodhya Ram Ram, Ayodhya Ram Ram, Ayodhya Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Lakshmana Ram Ram, Lakshmana Ram Ram, Lakshmana Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Lakshmana Ram Ram, Lakshmana Ram Ram, Lakshmana Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Hanumanta Ram Ram, Hanumanta Ram Ram, Hanumanta Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Hanumanta Ram Ram, Hanumanta Ram Ram, Hanumanta Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Kodhanna Ram Ram, Kodhanna Ram Ram, Kodhanna Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Kodhanna Ram Ram, Kodhanna Ram Ram, Kodhanna Ram Sita, Jaya 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 Ram. Om Nagendhara Trilochanaya Vasmangaraga Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shudhaya Digambaraya Tasmina Karaya Namah Shivaya. Dear family, yes, we come to that part where we want to celebrate this life of this Amma. Said when we bring the casket to the home and to the crematorium, the soul, the Atma, travels with that casket. And it's with us here today, watching over us how we perform this ceremony. So today, we want to offer tribute. By offering tribute, we offer love, light, and energy to the soul. And by offering love, light, and energy to the soul, we wish it well on its way to Godhead. To get to an age that we have in front of us, Amma's age, 96 years old, is a feat on its own. We do this all the time, I do this all the time. Nearly every day I serve the community. This is my seva. But not very often do I find 96 years old. You see, in our Indian astrological charts are prepared every 60 years. That's because the saints and sages, rishis and munis have estimated that an average lifespan on this earthly plane is approximately 60 years. Anything over that, you are living in the midst of your deity, that God that you worship. And you're in the presence of God continuously. Because by 60 years old, you've now finished your responsibilities, your earthly responsibilities. And then you take on the spiritual responsibilities of setting in place and foundation for your family, and make sure that Godhead is central to their foundation in their own families. Amma, at 96 years old, definitely created that. And today, we want to celebrate her life, and I'm going to call on the family member to offer tribute to our dear Amma lying in state.
Thank you. Thank you, Guru Jai Naidoo. Thank you, family who are here today. in these extraordinary times that are not normal, but we're here, and we're here to celebrate a remarkable life. I always called her Atte. Atte is father's sister. And when I was a baby, apparently, until I was about 10, I thought her name was Patte, because I used to call her Atte Patte. So that was my only name for her. It took me years to know her real name. Atte was just somebody who, when I was a baby, would babysit me because we lived down the road in Overport and they were in Asheville. And all of us have a distinct and different story to tell. She was born in 1925 at the tail end, or 7 years after World War I had ended, and 14 years before World War II even begun. So think about that nearly a century. As Guru just said, that's unusual at any level. She lived a life that was physically taxing at times. She saw the rise and fall of apartheid. She lived in a changing country. And she worked hard. It was a life of sacrifice, of investing in education, of investing in your children. She was part of a generation of people that believed you made do with what you had, and you aspired and worked hard to have more and earn more and provide the opportunities for your children to have a better life than you did. She embodied that her whole life. I think our Uncle Jairam says it more clearly in his short tribute, which I'm going to read out now, which Reggie has shared with me. And this is from Uncle Jairam. It is with much sadness that Sister Bomi's family in Durban received news of her sudden passing on Monday afternoon. Only a few weeks ago, we noted her celebrating her 96th birthday. She looked hale and hearty and seemed to be enjoying the best of life as she was approaching a milestone of 100 years. Bomi was born in 1925 in Roosfontein, Westville, where our father Chengel Reddy had leased small holding and set up his modest fruit and vegetable growing enterprise. She was the third of 11 siblings and was born to young parents who were struggling to provide a living for their family. She, her elder sister Kanaga, and brother Munsami bore the hallmarks of what was initially a life of poverty. Bomi attended school in Roosfontein, where she obtained a primary school education. As her father's fruit and vegetable business expanded, the family relocated to New Germany, Kranzklof. As other siblings were born and our father was preoccupied with his farming, Bomi and Kanaga, with our mother, took care of the home, providing for the needs of an entire big family. As was the case in those days, girls often had to leave school after primary level, and it was under these circumstances that Bomi did not attend secondary school. As a later born sibling, I recall with admiration the wonderful manner which Bomi and our older siblings took care of us, providing for us, bathing us, feeding us, and ensuring that we were dressed properly for school. With no electricity or piped water, it is remarkable how well we managed in a reasonable lifestyle in adverse circumstances in Kranzklof, New Germany, the site of weddings, many family reunions, and many happy Diwali celebrations. Of all the other siblings, I recall Bomi being a most actively focused person who got things done whenever the tasks were at hand. Her legendary cooking skills were immensely appreciated by all her children, not to mention grandchildren. Bomi married Munsami Naidoo, and they lived initially in Tongaat and then moved to Greenwood Park and subsequently to Asheville. Her home in Roslyn Avenue would be an iconic home for the family, and I recall boarding with her when I entered practice in the 1960s. Bomi enjoyed over 40 years of a happy married life with her husband Munsami, and those who knew him would know him as an impeccable gentleman and a model husband and father. She was indeed blessed, and they both were. During the latter part of her life, she also had the opportunity to visit Australia several times to visit Selvi and Dan and their spouses and grandchildren. And in her final years after the passing of Munsami, Bomi spent the last decade of her life with Nireshni. The family is immensely grateful to Nireshni for having taken such good care of them over these last few years. Meals, caregivers, and medical care. We have been blessed with the life of Bomi in our family as a sister, mother, wife, aunt. She led an exemplary life, and she will be immensely missed by family and friends. That's a message from Uncle Jairam. A lot of us also have memories of our grandmother, of Ava. And for me, our memories of Ava living in Asheville, of her being taken care of by Bomiyate and uncle, of the selflessness and the open house that was there, of walking into that house and the first question, have you eaten? Did you eat? And those words were till the end. I remember we visited her about a month ago, and that was also what she asked as we walked in. Did you have something to eat? A consistent care and a consistent love. She lived in the adage, don't sweat the small stuff, just get on with it. And if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, or in her case, lime pickle. She really did look on the bright side and get on with it. It was also admirable was her ability to adapt and to change, to move out of Durban and out of Asheville after 50 years in that house, to relocate to Cape Town, a city she had never lived in before. And a few years later, in her 80s, to relocate to Johannesburg, somewhere else she hadn't lived before. But to get on with it, and with Nireshni's consistent able support, to make the best of it. She was gentle, soft-spoken, kind, and thoughtful. And that was her consistent demeanor. I'm also shortly going to read a tribute from our cousins Dan and Vindra, who've just emailed me a short message, which I'll read now as well. Our heartfelt condolences to Dan, Selvi, and Nireshni during this difficult period. Auntie Bomi and Uncle Munsami had always had a special place in our hearts from the days of Asheville and beyond. This bond was further enhanced by the brief stay in Cape Town, where we spent many a weekend together, chatting and reminiscing about some fond memories. Auntie was a wonderful host and took great pride in whatever she did. She always conducted herself in a most dignified manner, kind, considerate, thoughtful, and always unassuming. She never left our residence without thanking us for what we had done. She will be fondly remembered by each and every member of our family and has left an everlasting impression on all of us. Love always, Dan, Dina, Reggie, and their families. I've also been in touch with Dan and Selvi, who together have asked me to read out a few comments from them on their mother. And I'll start with Selvi. I think our mother would be remembered for many things. Among them, her culinary skills. Every dish of hers was not only with spices and condiments, but also with pride, love, and a skill that came with her intuitively. When asked for a recipe, she wouldn't give one because her skill was based on a sense of touch she had developed over the years. Her sense of hospitality. You never visited her home in Asheville without having your taste buds teased and your belly filled. And while she loved to be active in the nearby temple, it was never at the expense of her duties and support to all of us as a family. It was common for her to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to ensure that all the domestic chores were completed before she went to the temple. She was a disciplinarian with her children. All chores had to be completed before any free time was spent. And this put us all in good stead in life. She was meticulous in the way her home was maintained and was always absolutely tidy and organized. She was particular about the products that were used in the meals she cooked, whether it was the fish or the chicken or the vegetables. And her ability to adapt to life-changing circumstances. She took these changes in her stride, and though it would have been painful to be wretched from her beloved home and friends in Durban, she did it stoically and bravely. Both of us, this is Selvi and Dan, want to thank Nireshni for the care and love she showed our dear mother without complaint. We also wish to thank all the nieces and nephews and cousins who've rallied around over the last few days and when she was in hospital in 2019. From Dan, He writes, Amma was always kind and compassionate. She was always ready to help anyone. She opened her home to anyone who was in need. She was a woman who gave so much while expecting so little. As a mother, she was always ready to make personal sacrifices for her children. She never complained about anything, no matter how ill she was, and if anyone asked her, she would just say, I'm fine, thank you. We are fortunate that she traveled to Australia 5 times to spend time with her children and grandchildren. And in April 2015, she celebrated her 90th birthday in Sydney. In October of the same year, she returned to Sydney to attend her grandson Nishan's wedding, proudly walking through the reception hall to sit at the main table. It's really impressive for a 90-year-old. And in 2018, at the age of 93, she returned to Sydney, where she spent 10 months with her family. Apart from these 2 years of ill health, she led a full and fruitful life. Our mother enjoyed a very peaceful and comfortable life only because of Nireshni, who took care of our parents single-handedly from 1997 to our dad's passing in 2010. She cared for our mother. Both of us are deeply grateful to you for taking full responsibility for our parents and then our mother, and ensuring that they had the best of whatever they needed. She left no stone unturned when it came to sourcing the best medical care they needed, and you had the high demands of your career with the needs of our mum, selflessly sacrificing your personal needs and plans. Nireshni insisted on keeping Amma at home to ensure she had the best care around the clock under her watchful eye. We were distressed that under the present global pandemic circumstances, we could not fly down to support Nireshni and fulfill our commitments. However, we find solace and strength and relief with the army of cousins and family who have taken control of every aspect of the ceremony. We are deeply indebted and grateful to each one of them for all they have done to support Nireshni in these most difficult circumstances. And that was a message from Dan. So it's a short ceremony. I think I just have a few conclusion remarks. And that's with a few words that Nireshni has asked me to say as well, which I'm going to say now. Nireshni reminded me that the home in Asherville was also a home for so many, not just the immediate family. Uncle Jairam, as he said, lived there when he started his practice at Good Hope Centre. My dad, Billy, lived there while studying at University College, Salisbury Island. Uncle Nine lived there while he taught at Greyville High. So an entire generation lived in a home that was an open home for everybody. And that will always be appreciated. That's what family is, and that's what love and care and selflessness is. As I conclude, I'd like to just announce that Nireshni has asked everybody to please come home after this for an early dinner at Unit 314 on Grenville Avenue in Waverley. So please join us afterwards. And like Dan and Selvi, Nireshni wishes to acknowledge everybody for all the support consistently. So inevitable as death is, and it's a certainty, it seldom leaves us prepared. And seldom are we ready for it and emotionally prepared as we'd like to think we are. So yes, people can say 96, nearly a century, it's an incredible epic life. It is. But that does not for a second lessen this real sadness and the gap and the loss. A loss more palpably felt by Nireshni, Dan and Selvi. Loss is what we've all had to deal with. It was my dad in this very venue 3.5 years ago. It was Uncle Chin a few months after that. It was Ranga out there last year. It's all part of the cycle of humanity. But it's not easy. And we will heal. So, Ate, on behalf of everybody here today and all those who are watching from afar, the friends and family whose love and support transcends geography and age and generations, we wish you a good rest, which you've well earned. Thank you. Thank you, Guru. Okay.
So you've heard, dear family, you've heard, you know this Amma, this granny. You know her so well. There's nothing I can say. I think so. He's said everything. That foundation that was set for all of you, she has left that legacy for all of you to carry on with. And I've been listening to how Yureshni has been taking care of her. I want to say to you that in the 15th stage of somebody's life, when you take absolute care, when the body is getting diseased and you take absolute care and make sure that your mum or your dad or your brother or sister, whoever the individual is kept pristine, is kept with no pain. You try and give them the best in that stage of their life. Remember, at that time, they are calling on Lord Venkateswara, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, all the deities. They're calling on all of them to come and help them, to remove the pain from them. And those deities stand right by their side, stay right by their side and grant them their wish. You that are serving are truly blessed to serve. And you will be blessed with abundance also. And then we move into the next stage, which is the 16th stage. And this is what we're celebrating today. Antesti, what we call death, but only death of this body. Amma has left a legacy. You can't break that legacy. You'll all remember that legacy for the rest of your lives. I want to now stop here and say Prem Namaskaram to all of you. We are going to go to the ante room. We've overstepped our mark a little bit, but not a problem. We want to celebrate, and I want to celebrate. I felt like celebrating this life. Like I said, not very often do I have this. So today it's a real celebration of a life. I now call on the pallbearers to please pick up the coffin. Om Sarvamangala Rama Sita Rama Rama Sarvamangala Rama Sita Rama Rama Lokesha Lokavilasa Kodanda Rama Lokesha Lokavilasa Kodanda Rama Sarvamangala Rama Sita Rama Rama Lokesha Lokavilasa Kodanda Rama Rama Krishna Govinda Narayana Ramakrishna Govinda Narayana. Preminchu palinchu Narayana. Preminchu palinchu Narayana. Ramakrishna Govinda Narayana. Ramakrishna Govinda Narayana. Om. Thank you, dear family. We come to the end of this ceremony. We are only allowed 5 in the anteroom. So for all of you that want to observe, there is another double door on that side or at the back. You can stand on the outside and you can observe. You can look in and see exactly how we're performing the last rites. For those that are on live streaming, to all the family members that have taken time and to be with the family, never mind, you're far away, you've taken the time to make sure that you give them the support. You are on live streaming, so you've given them that support. The families say, thank you very much, Dhanyavadamulu to all of you. We will stop live streaming here now, as the family would like the anteroom, the cremator room ceremony as a private ceremony. To all those on live stream, Dhanyavadamulu and Prem Namaskaram to all of them. Thank you. To all of you,